My life has always been one of change. For 54 years, I stood on the wall, and I'm just grateful for my journey.
We're so grateful to God for the opportunity to sit and catch just a glimpse into the life and times of one of the AME Church's greatest spiritual and civil rights leaders. The past presiding elder of the Capital District of the Washington Annual Conference, Reverend Dr. Goodwin Douglas, hails from very humble beginnings on the stunning island of Bermuda, but with a tremendous calling on his life that would lead him to the U.S. to integrate congregations, fight for civil and human rights, and challenge the body of believers to step up to the plate and do more for our communities and our young people. We sat down with Elder Douglas and his lovely wife, Cynthia, to find out just what ministry beyond the four walls of the church really looks like for them. Elder Douglas and Sister Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we'd like to start by getting a glimpse into your life, Elder Douglas, growing up in the beautiful island of Bermuda. Would you share with us what it was like to grow up in the 40s and 50s in Bermuda?
Well, Bermuda, as you know, is, we'd like to say that it is the most beautiful island in the world, and that I grew up in a family that would be considered marginal. My father was what they call a joiner, having to do with carpentry. My mother was a domestic. Bermuda, as you know, belonged to the British, one of the British colonies. And so we took on a lot of British traditions. At the same time, it had somewhat of a caste system. I began my ministry in North Carolina.
Okay.
While at Kittrell.
Okay.
I received my calling, and for a while I was an assistant pastor of the chapel at Kittrell College. And from there was assigned to South Boston, Virginia. And from South Boston, Virginia to Farmville, Virginia. And from Farmville to Lynchburg, Virginia. I came to the Washington area in 1965 and to Cumberland and Frostburg, which is the most western point in the state of Maryland. Only to my surprise, out of 86,000 people, there were only 700 black people. But I enjoyed the people there. The people there appreciated what I had done. And in fact, the first black brakeman for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad took the test in my basement of my church.
Oh, my.
And we had a way of getting the test. So these boys would take the examination, and they passed it. And some of them today are engineers and brakemen. So, and then my ministry has always not been always in the pulpit, because I think that mine was more of a holistic ministry, where you took care of the whole person. When people need help, it doesn't matter really what color you are. If you can provide that help, then they would receive it.
Amen. I wanted to ask Sister Cynthia if she knew when she met this nice young man all those years ago what you were in store for in joining him in this journey.
Well, when I first met him, when he came to town, it was quite a interesting revelation that such a young man would come to an area and capture the attention of everybody in town. He was very forward and instrumental in helping everybody.
Then I came to the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
And I was the pastor of St. Paul AME Church at 14th and Emerson.
Okay.
And while I was there, I led the protest in D.C. to make Martin Luther King's birthday a holiday. And then from there on we went to Turner Memorial, and that was at 6th and I then. And the church, Metropolitan AME Church, became a church known as the church in Cumberland. And I was responsible for helping to create the Frederick Douglass Society at Frostburg State College, the first black students to ever go there. We went there, I think it was around about 69, and I formulated the Frederick Douglass Society so that they could have a group that could dialogue with each other. And I ain't through yet.
Amen.
I plan after I retire to see where I fit in. For young men and women coming through now, don't so get caught up with ministry
Okay.
that you forget that you have a family. And then, of course, you know, your wife wants to do some things with you by yourself.
Yeah, so you have your honey-do list, I'm sure.
No,
No, he doesn't have a
I don't have a
honey-do.
honey-do list now.
No.
I don't do that. I help.
Okay.
I help.